part of the human condition is like disagreements. And I imagine your parents got into disagreements from time to time. How did they navigate that with respect to the kiddos? Was it in front of them, or was it they would go behind closed doors? Or how did they navigate conflict?
Phil Phails for you.
It's a good question. I don't recall a lot of conflict growing up. I really don't.
Yeah.
They were sweet, very God-fearing folks, very, they still, I don't even think they go to church anymore, but.
Well, God wouldn't stop people from having conflict.
No, but I'm just saying at that time they were, I would say it was a bit of a, no, I wouldn't say a strict, but it was very much a religious house growing up.
What does that mean? What is a religious house? I've never been in that. So I wonder, like, what is that? How does that impact you? Was it like, what did you do on a daily basis that was religious?
Well, on a daily basis, I don't know, but we would go to church every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to youth groups like once a week.
On Wednesdays or something, yeah.
And that was a lot of my social life, even as a kid. It was like my church youth group friends.
That was your community.
It was one of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't my community, but it was definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm. Were they like quoting scriptures with dinner table?
I would say so. I don't recall. It wasn't super heavy-handed, but there was definitely a presence of church. And so for me, like I feel like there was a, like I'm not a religious person anymore, but I am grateful for that experience because from a very young age, I felt like I had a personal relationship with God or spirit.
Yeah.
So there was always a solid foundation for spirituality, and it felt like God was accessible and God was a friend. It wasn't like there were, and through things like prayer, I would have a direct line to God to inquire, speaking of this intuition, and listening.
Heck yeah.
I think prayer was my first exposure to that because I felt like there was an entity that we call God that you could access with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And for a kid to believe that is, it's an incredible gift, I feel, to have that relationship.
Yeah.
And obviously there's religion, I think, it distorts this idea of God in so many ways.
Yeah.
But just that fundamental truth of having access to this divine insight was definitely a good influence.
Yeah. When you still your mind as a kid, the voice that would come as inspiration was in the form of God.
It is. And I think God and intuition are the same thing when you think about it, because like you're praying to God, you're asking God a question and then you receive an answer. That's the same thing as tuning into your intuition and receiving an answer. I think they're different ways of saying the same thing.
Yeah. I'm struck by the beginning where you said your folks were God-fearing people. And it seems like that's very antithetical or separate from everything else you said. It's like we fear God.
Well, that's like a term.
I know it's a term, but it's there because it would have people act in a certain way. It would have them walk the straight and narrow.
Correct.
Right?
I think that might be a quote in the Bible or something, where the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So that this is just like a term that's used in the Christian paradigm, is this fear of God. And I don't think it means a literal fear, like I'm afraid of God.
It wasn't hell-centric.
It means respect. It means I have a healthy respect for the sacred.
Yeah.
And like there is a power beyond me. So I'm just going to respect that power and do what I can to honor that power.
Heck yeah.